Hi, and welcome to the Fox Den. My name is Cat,
And
and I'm
your
with my host,
co-host Cody is here today.
and we're gonna be just having a relaxing, or as in our podcast, where we just tell a story.
Oh yeah.
And the stories we want to tell you guys that may give an idea around us. I feel like since we're going to be leaving to a con soon, I was thinking more towards like con story time.
Yeah.
And I see it as a fun idea for both me and him, since our shared experience with con was together. Though I have been to festivals, that is a total different thing than cons.
Mm-hmm.
They have some shared experience, but not as the same though. So
Yeah.
So, co-host, would you like to go first?
Sure. I guess I can go. So my first experience with cons was about 4-ish years ago, and I never would really thought about going to a convention anytime soon as a person that never really showed his love for anime that much, because I was always kind of alone as a person when it comes to like enjoying some animes and everything like that. But ever since I met good old Cat over here, I actually attended multiple cons with her, and some that were really good, and then some of them that are not so good. I guess I can start off with like one of the worst ones that I went to, which it wasn't per se like worse as in it was a bad con. It just didn't work out at all the way that everybody anticipated for. So when I was in college, we had an anime club there, which was a small little club. We talked about video games, anime, and everything else. And one faithful season of that semester, we actually decided to hold a convention.
I was actually around this time too, which is hilarious because I remember Regina, our friend, was stressing out about this convention and all the work that she did for it.
Oh yeah, it was a big deal for us because I believe it was the first year that the anime club actually had the permission to be able to hold something. I was not part of like the big staff that they had on it, but I was there for kind of like what they put it as is like security reasons. You know, like I was there to make sure that things were going organized. People weren't destroying things, this, that, and the other. Even though the school had their own security, and they kind of like didn't really care. So they had to get students to be able to kind of watch the door. But the convention was nice. It kind of it racked up a lot of attention at the time because we were doing like small little like tables that had like art there. People did like face painting. A good friend of me and Kat's named Dan actually built like the games for the area, and it was pretty nice, but it went down rather fast because like, so the things that they tried to do was like they tried to do like a video game tournament. Well, the people who tried to enter the video game tournament, they could sign up for it and then leave and come back, but if they never come back, then they lost their spot, which was bad because like that's how normal video con tournaments would happen, but it just like that made it worse because it's just like there's like 20 people that showed up but only 5 people were there. So like it kind of didn't work out very well. Another like bad thing was that there was a lot of theft involved. There was a lot of people tripping out because there was people doing like like bad stuff inside there. They were there was a lot of like drama, alcohol, drugs, everything inside there, and it's just like we try to make it clean as possible, but then everything started falling apart when the rave happened. The room was dark, people were getting in there, people were arguing, people were getting upset, and it's just like, I think, like, if I remember right, like the whole committee kind of just like flat out was just like, I don't care anymore. And that's bad. So, but that was my actually my second con I technically went to. First con is with when we went to I think it was Katsu with me and you, wasn't it?
No.
Wasn't
I
it?
wasn't dating you. Technically, your first con was when you guys held your own anime convention at the school.
Was it? I thought it was. No, it was my second con because me and you went. Yeah, me and you went to Odo together before that con.
No, we weren't dating. I remember that because, like, we weren't even dating around that time. We dated right after that whole FASO or whatever. Yeah, because, like, I remember my first con with you is right after Regina was telling me all these stories and Aaron in the group, because, like, when they were telling me all this happened, I was like, oh, well, I'm glad I didn't go, because I didn't even know you at the time, like, really well at all. And that was, like, going into the summer.
We
didn't date until, like,
you're right,
near to halfway of the summer.
You're right. You're right. I okay. Yeah, you're right. I'm getting my timeline all messed up. You know, that's one of my crutches in life.
I was gonna say, look at your ring.
Hey, it's all right. Just like I said, just time escaping me. So, but either way, I don't count that as my con. As a con, it was a very nice event. Don't get me wrong. It's just like there was a lot more drama at the end of the day. I mean, the club, at least that I know of, is still going on today in college. Because I just saw a post that somebody became the new president for the club, and I'm just like, well, I don't know who's there to participate, but you know, hey, that's all on y'all. So, but I felt like I was rambling too long. So, Kat, you got anything?
So, I would say my first con is definitely with you, like, legitimately. But if you want to talk about, okay, so I remember when we was, starting to date, we went to our first convention, was Otakon.
Mm-hmm.
So when we went to Otakon, it was like I had to make up cosplays on the fly at times, because I always wanted to cosplay at a convention, but I didn't know what to do. So I kind of brought some stuff, and then some stuff I already had, so I kind of was like winging it as I go. And I think that's a fun experience in itself, because I always wanted to, like, I just always wanted to get into cosplay, but it's like, I don't know, I guess I'm shy. So, like, in all honesty, I think the funnest experience is just basically enjoying the panels. And I feel like people in general, maybe not everybody, but I do feel like some people don't enjoy, like, listening to talks or like some, like, interesting conversation. Because even before in high school, when I ran the anime club, I try to incorporate panels in a sense. That way somebody can learn or two about, anime. Because you can talk about anime, don't get me wrong, but I feel like watching anime in general can kind of, like, intrigue a conversation.
Yeah.
But it also depends on how you bring the conversation. Yeah, not everybody can, like, gather a group of people and be like, hey, you know. But
Hey,
I feel
you,
like
yeah,
for
you
me
over
in
there.
general,
You like anime over there,
my
right?
favorite one is whenever we went to like one of those like fighting ones. You bring your speaker with you at the time.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And you would play like a music or a soundtrack from a game or like anime, and the guy was like, I need some music, and you be the first one to play, and everybody be laughing because they be like trying to show a demonstration and it'd be funny.
Yeah. The panel, if I remember right, it was traditional martial arts, like wrestling. I guess not wrestling. It was it wasn't sumo wrestling, but it was
traditional wrestling.
Traditional wrestling, yes. No. It was traditional martial arts, but the guys were giving out a demonstration. So the one time they were like, "Hey, does anybody happen to have any like dramatic fighting music going on?" And I heard somebody being like, "Oh, yeah," and they started trying to play something on their phone, and it just like it didn't sound like loud enough. So I was just like, "Hey, wait, I got a speaker in my pocket. Hold on," and I started playing. At first, I think I was playing the Attack on Titan theme, I think. But then somebody said,
one I remembered the most was Sephiroth music.
Yes, it was.
Theme.
Then somebody like kind of like found me and was just like, "Hey, can you play One Wing Angel for me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." And I looked it up right quick and I found it, and it says like that everybody in the room started like getting excited and everybody started laughing, and like the two guys that were doing the demonstration, they automatically knew like, okay, yeah, it's about to go down. And and the instructor walked over to me and was just like, "Hey man, you're really good at this, keep going with this." And I'm like, "Yeah man, I got you."
Yeah, I think the one audio also I read never was a Dragon Ball Z one.
Yeah,
I don't know which theme it was because there's multiple themes.
I think it was the Ultra Instinct Goku that happened. It was either that or it was one of those two. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I just know it was definitely some fighting music for it.
But if you want to talk about something crazy, we could talk about the rave.
That's entirely so the rave that she's referring to it's somewhat me and good old Cat over here experienced our first rave for the first time. Well, technically, if you want to say quote unquote my second one, because the whole college thing, but me and her went to this rave, and the music was alright. It wasn't the greatest, but it was going.
I think one or two DJs I did like because they did have some.
I think
nice,
that was
Katsu.
That was Katsu. That what me and you we actually.
Katsu has some really good DJs. No lie, like straight throughout the night.
Yeah.
Now Odo had like one or two that was like they had some really good playlists. I'm not gonna lie, but then they'll have like the other DJs.
Yeah, we tried sticking around for Katsu because it had your boy what was his name? I think it was what the heck is his name? The Final Fantasy voice actor. Noctis was
Ray Chase.
Yeah, he was actually DJing there, and we tried to stick around for him, but due to untimely events, we had to leave early.
But
back to the previous con about that. We actually got removed out of the rave because of it wasn't anything like too inappropriate, like so like we were just dancing, having a good time, and like some security guard, she looked like a
lady.
Yeah, some lady. She came over to us and she was just like, "Hey, you're doing some inappropriate things on the dance floor," and we're sitting over here like looking around, and we seeing everybody getting like bumped and grind on, and we were just like, "Oh, okay, we'll tone it down a little bit, no problem." And then like right back in like less than 5 minutes later, I think she Cat leaned over and gave me a good old smooch, and then the lady was just like, all right, you two need to go, and we're sitting here like, why are you so upset with us? And she was like, you just need to leave. And me and Kat just looked at each other and was just like, all right, fine, we'll just leave. We don't need to be here anyway. Because
I heard that there was worse things that has happened, and security didn't even notice half of the stuff that happens. I'm not gonna lie.
That's the funny thing is, but at the same time, it was kind of a good thing that we left, because I think it was also getting late to where we had to try to find a way to get home.
Yeah,
because
the metro was starting to close down.
Yeah, because right before then, it was in an area where I'm not very uncomfortable to drive in, so we had to take the metro back and forth, which entirely it wasn't that bad, but it just sucked because we had to miss out on a lot of the late night stuff because of the inconvenience of metro. But it was still a good con either way. I didn't mind it too much, other than some of the little bit of group drama that we had, but they eventually just kind of went their own ways, and me and Kat just kind of tried to enjoy the rest of the con as it was.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's always like you and me and maybe a couple other people who always try to stick together as a unit and not try to have problems, and then other people that's a friend of a friend brings their problems.
Yeah,
I'm like, I understand, hey, stuff happens, but then everybody gets kind of like mopey, and I'm like, hey, we all took our vacation and time off to enjoy this con. I'd rather enjoy the con than be mopey. No offense.
It's not a problem. I mean,
yeah,
at least not towards me.
There was an instant where I had an issue, but I didn't want it to let it even phase me at all. It's just that for some reason I had to get dragged into it, and it wasn't even my fault.
Yeah, it's dumb to me because like you're coming to a con with a group of friends in a giant convention hall, and if you have beef between somebody in your group or somebody outside, it's not like you can't sit there and avoid them. You're in a stadium size area to where you can go and just walk away and not be found for like hours.
Yeah, that is true. You can. Well, the group has a tendency of being in different places anyway, so.
Yeah, but, other than that, it's just like, you can really get lost in the cons if you really wanted to.
Yeah, because I remember a couple times we had to sit there and play, okay, where is everybody at right now? And some people's phones are dying, or they either can't answer because they're at a weak cell spot, because that has happened to me when I was trying to get in contact with a few people in like one area of the convention center would be like, oh, you have weak signal, and the other doesn't, and like trying to get through the hallways of like multiple levels is kind of.
Yeah, I swear, like, there's always that one area inside a convention center where it's just like, your phone will just sit there and just be like, there's no service, but then you move like 2 inches over to the like right, and it's just like, there's full bars here. It's just like, whatever is sitting right there just blocks everything out. But
I think that's what happened at Otakon. Someone was trying to look for us.
Yeah, and it's just like, but when you go to a con, you always have to do the buddy system anyway. It's just like you never.
It kind of sucked that It kind of sucked that one of our friends also was looking for us because they were by themselves and they didn't have anyone to like say, hey, we're looking for you guys. We want to see you guys. What are you doing and such? Because we're bored or whatever. And I was like, damn, bro. That's why I told you guys before, and to have a buddy. We agreed on the buddy system, but everyone doesn't listen to that even the option, because I'm not even just trying to say it as like, hey, I don't want you guys to get lost, but you can get lost at a convention, and also it's hard to keep track of everybody if somebody's not with them, and then something were to happen, at least you have somebody with you, and then the group, if the group is with you.
Yeah, because it's just like it's an incident where your phone dies or like you don't have no signal or something like that. You have a buddy with you to be able to be like, all right, look, let's go try and find a place to charge the phone. So you're not sitting there just leave the group and then you're just like trying to get your phone charged, or like you lost your card and you're trying to sit here and be like, hey, look, I'm kind of screwed on this. I need help looking for this.
Yeah,
That's
but
when.
I understand that some people don't have friends, but I would, to those who never been to a convention, I would suggest having a friend with you, because there has been incidents where some people either had way worse experience where something actually happens to them at the convention that they didn't have nobody with them at all
Yeah, I
to
mean,
help them.
you can still
So
thoroughly enjoy a con by yourself, but it's just like,
yeah,
you always want to have that one person that's just like, hey, look, like you get lost, or like you're trying to you're trying to go look for something and you took a wrong turn, and there's a person mugging you now. You have that buddy that come over and give him a good old wonton bomb, or swanton, whatever you want to call it. Just give him a good old flying kick of doom. Just like that's then you got those type of people. But even if it's just like a friend or like a loved one, family
or con
member,
goers,
or yeah,
because there's some people who are willing, who are even just strangers that sometimes are cool. Just make sure you don't trust everybody, but at least have little and try to make friends at a con, because or if you know somebody that goes to con, you could reach out to them and say, hey, I want to go to convention, where are you going, uh you know first time going, what should I do for like cons or whatever, how do I cosplay, it's more of like, hey, and also it's also more enjoyable when you have somebody as well, because I've seen people who are by themselves, and I try to at least have a conversation, because like we're all nerds and not everybody shouldn't be turned away for being by themselves and don't have friends when we all like the same thing. And I don't want I remember the girl at one of the convention. I tried to talk to her, and she was actually really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though she was sitting by herself, I was like, hey, I like your outfit or whatever. Because like I think it was like Self OC, if
Probably.
I remember. Because I remember one time somebody was sitting by herself and you were busy doing something, and they made something of a OC of their character. And I was like, oh, it's like a cute cosplay,
Yeah.
and I asked them what it was, and da da da. And then they, it makes their day, and it makes them feel noticed.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like if you're cosplaying, and somebody even just says like, oh, hey, that's a good attempt at such and such character. At least it made you feel good because you put the time and effort into making it. And
yeah,
I think also when that happened, I think it was when I got pulled into an Akatsuki circle.
oh,
Because like it was when like one of the days that I bought the Akatsuki cloak, and I was just like, hey, like my hair's orange already. Let me go as go as Pain. And that was when we spent like a good like 20 minutes in the I think it was the hotel lobby freaking trying to like get my face done, and
your nails.
Yeah,
even though you don't like your nails to be painted, but it's okay.
I literally was just like I went out like almost all the way with it. The only thing I couldn't do was the eyeliner, because I'm a big puss when it comes to like anything touching my eyeball, because
I know
classes gang. Anyway, but yeah, it was. But cons are very fun, regardless if you go by yourself or you go with a group. Just seeing all the cosplaying, seeing all the artwork, panels are especially fun.
Even meeting like the guests or like the voice actor, voice actress, singers and such, they're really amazing, and I admire them. Even meeting people who like people who do stuff on Etsy, like make stuff, they're there too. Yeah. And sometimes they make artwork as well. Artist Alley, and the best place to, I always ask them, like, you know, tips and stuff, because I'm an artist as well, you know, hey, you know, I want to get out there, you know, but I'm not really good with, you know, making my own merch per se. I want to get into it because, like, Regina kind of wants to get into it too, and I'm kind of interested in making, like, you know, fandom, like, merchandise, because of, like,
so near you,
not only that, but also the enjoyment, because it's hard to find some fandom. Like, for example, my favorite fandom of all time in video game is Xenosaga. It's very little merch for it.
Oh yeah,
very little. I would love to make some just to have it.
Yeah, it's there's definitely a lot of, like, people out there, especially one con that was very special to a lot of our friends. Fortunately, I was not there at the time for it, but I would have loved to have met him. It's when we oh my goodness, what is his name?
Etika?
Yes, Etika.
He was at Katsu, yeah.
Yes, he a whole bunch of my friends and me and Kat was wandering around somewhere. They actually met Etika in person, and may he rest in peace. He was there, and a lot of people was just ecstatic to see him, and it was just like, you never would have think in a small world that we all live in, that, oh man, you know, I get to meet someone as famous, you know, like I see him on TV shows, or you see him on other side of a camera. You know, YouTubers, you got VTubers, you know, podcasters, you got voice actors. You know, it's just like, there's so many people out there that it's just like comes to these small little cons, and it just makes everybody's day. It just happens to be one of those things where, you know, it's just seeing these big names that you know, on the big screen and everything like that. It's just like, it brings a certain excitement to you.
Yeah. I wanted to meet Leezy so badly, bruh. But he was at DreamCon, and DreamCon is in Texas.
Yeah.
I'm so pissed about that. But I mean, next year I want to go to New York, but I want to go to like a con in New York because, you know, one, I haven't been to New York since middle school because of choir, and then two, I want to actually look around because I've been to mostly Broadway musicals and all that stuff. Whenever I went to New York, I never really like venture. I wanted to show you guys, well, the group, like the places I find that has like a lot of good food, so we can all try it out. Because I know you guys look on my page and be like, bruh, why is she showing some really good food? I promise you it's not me. I be finding it on my recommendation, and I'm just like, man, I want to travel so badly over there and just, like, you know, to try it out.
Oh yeah. And you know, it's just like, we want to go to a con. It doesn't matter if it's a small con or a large con. It's still an experience that everybody should have. If you're into anime, music, anything of that sort. It's like, for our New York trip, if we ever do decide to take it, the biggest con that's usually there is Comic-Con, and you know, that's where you find all your little you know, like comic books, comic heroes, your movie actors, you know, and everything like that. But you know, it's one of those things where, but cons are fun anyway. But I think we are probably gonna start wrapping it up soon. You got any other final words, thoughts, or comments? Good old there, Cat.
Not really. It's just that, you know, to the viewers out there that are listening or watching, whichever you are watching or listening to on per se, is that, like, don't let life stop you from enjoying stuff. As much as I hate to say it, yeah, I was kind of pissed that COVID fucked up our plans. Yeah. And like, two, it's like, there's always a next time. That's all. That's another thing. There's always gonna be a next time.
Yeah, definitely.
So
And
don't let it get you down,
of course,
even when it's hard.
yeah, even if people out there are going to the conventions now, definitely make sure that you have you stay safe.
Yes.
Go. It's dangerous out there. Trust me. It's like, even though you have 10,000 people around you, tens to 100,000 people, it's still a lot of people can get you sick. People can they'll sit there and they'll try to harass you or do anything of that sort. Always make sure you have a way to kind of like not defend yourself, but just kind of like make sure that you
You're
have
in a
somebody
good
with
distance
you.
from everybody else.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
Just
Because there's been stuff that I wanted to go to last year and they all got canceled. And I really cried inside about this because I missed really good opportunities to go to not only to concert, but also a con and then possibly a second con within that year. So, I mean, yeah, I'm going to a convention in person, but that would be probably the only convention I'm going to out of all the year. And I try to stay out from traveling outwards other than just working and coming home, working and then coming home.
Yep.
So this is kind of just like my break time as it is.
But it's that time again that we're gonna go ahead and did it off here. But thank you all for listening to us today at the Good Fox Den. It has definitely been a pleasure with your co-host Cody
and the host Cat.
And with that, we are gonna sign off. Bye-bye.
Bye.